I often see people speaking of plot holes in regards to the Android and Cell arc, and whilst it is prone to a few due to the incorporation of time travelling, I don't actually believe that the androids being stronger in the past and Gero and 19 being absent in the future was one of them. In this video I'll explain my reasonings as to why this is. I'll be using excerpts and a tiny bit of headcanon in places to make this work, but I think you'll all agree that it's nothing far-fetched. Goku is dead in the future, and consequently the androids are programmed for world domination, rather than for killing Goku. So for this to work, they're programmed to hate humans, and that humans should anger them. This is mentioned in the History of Trunks movie in the subbed version, of course. This is the reason why they're more intent on destroying the world than the ones in the current timeline. The ones in the present timeline need only hate Goku. This is shown evidently upon the arrival of Android 16, who is programmed to hate Goku but loves everything else. He is also considered a failure, so evidently as he's able to break his programming to fight Cell instead of Goku, and even so end up fighting by their side in the Cell games, it's easier to override the hate for Goku than the hate for humans. Had 16 been programmed with the hate for humans as well as the hate for Goku, then perhaps it would have played out differently and made it harder for him to join forces with the Z-Warriors in the present. Dr. Gero had spy robot bugs whilst gathering inputs for the androids. Although allegedly they stopped gathering data after the Goku and Vegeta fight, Cell has cells in place from Frieza dying in the future timeline, from when Frieza visited Earth and was seemingly killed by Goku. This would mean that logically Dr. Gero's computer was the one collecting info for the growth of Cell and the androids. Dr. Gero is also seemingly turned into an android himself with the help of his basement supercomputer. So whilst the Doctor himself had stopped collecting data as he started being turned into an android, the computer continued to gather data. This is mainly just to debunk the idea that Cell gathered his cells from Frieza arriving in the present timeline, because he was in hibernation during this time, growing to hatch out of his bug-like body. In the future, the Warriors never prepared for the androids and consequently were much weaker. Goku's strength, when he would have defeated Frieza, would likely have been the max strength that would have been recorded, judging on the idea that Vegeta wouldn't have cared so much about training once he'd reached the level of Super Saiyan, as Goku would have died. Vegeta may have possibly been a little bit stronger just to finally surpass Goku, but after his rivalry with Goku would have vanished, he assumes his role as strongest in the universe and trains steadily rather than intensely. Due to the fact that the androids wouldn't have been made with the intent of killing Goku, they would have only been made strong enough to kill the other warriors and humans of the world. This would mean that the androids could be released earlier than they were in the present timeline, and this would also mean that the development of 19 and 20 would have stopped, and hence why they didn't appear in the future. This would explain why Trunks didn't recognize them. This would also explain why the androids wouldn't have seen 16 in the future, as perhaps 16 would have been developed to such a lesser amount that releasing him may not have even been an option in the future. This would have curbed the androids' strength and changed their motives to being more direct with killing people and world domination rather than just offing Goku like they are in the present. This programming also explains why the androids always seem to treat their objectives as a game. Evident in the present that although they hate Gero, they follow his plan as their programming treats it like a game. In the future, the androids also treat killing people and world domination as a game. Placing the idea of their objective as a game must make it easier for them to follow their programming, whereas 16 has an objective, he declines most of their opportunities until he begins to break his programming. The game aspect must make breaking the programming harder as they seek the fun from the result. In the main timeline, Goku and the others were training, so had the computer picked up on this, it would have kept the androids in development for longer to get closer to that of the power of Goku's recorded strength. And then with Gero's transformation completed into an android, he would have begun to take over the operation once more. He would be unaware of the Super Saiyan transformation, being an android himself. He would have missed all this information. He would be happy enough to consider his own strength enough to take out the Warriors and Goku, hence he and 19 heading out prior to the other androids on the date of May 19th, that obviously, I don't know why, but had some importance to him executing his plans regardless of intent on this exact date. Whilst it's never explicitly said, I like to assume that this was the date that Goku foiled the Red Ribbon Army's plans. This would explain the reason the androids in the present were stronger than those in the future. It would also explain the plot holes of Gero not knowing the Super Saiyan transformation but Cell knowing of it and gathering Frieza's cells, although apparently having concluded his research prior to Namek. The other reason Cell may know is also from fighting Trunks in the future timeline or whatever it was that he came from, in which Trunks would have most likely transformed into a Super Saiyan when he was fighting him. It would have also explained the character personality differences between 17 and 18 from the future to the present. So some of you may agree or may disagree with this, but these are my reasons for not treating it as a plot hole. Perhaps this is too headcanon based for some of you, but for me it makes a lot of sense and I don't really have to imagine a lot of this, it just seems to fall into place. It might not be outright stated in the show, but this just kind of fits together in a way that maybe they should have explained it directly, but I don't think they need to. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye!